My name is Sarah. I am 36 years old, and life has tested me more times than I can count. I have 2 children, Mia, who is 12, and Noah, who is 8. They are the reason I wake up every morning. Every choice I make begins and ends with them. I lost my mother when I was a little girl. Not long after, my father passed away too. Back then, I believed I had already faced the deepest pain possible. I was wrong. I married at 22, convinced love would carry us through anything. For over a decade, I built my world around that promise. Then one evening, without warning, my husband told me he no longer loved me. Within weeks, he was gone. Noah had just turned 3. There were no phone calls, no financial help, no looking back. Just silence. From that day forward, it was the 3 of us against the world. We live in a small rented apartment in a quiet neighborhood called Riverstone Heights. It isn't fancy. The walls are thin, the kitchen is tiny, and the heater works only when it feels like it. But it's ours. It's the place where my children feel safe. Some months, paying rent feels like climbing a mountain with no summit. I never finished college, so my job options are limited. Still, giving up has never crossed my mind. During the day, I work as a private caregiver. I look after elderly patients in their homes, preparing meals, organizing medication, helping them move, listening to their stories. I treat them with the same tenderness I would want someone to show my own parents. But that paycheck alone isn't enough. In the evenings and on weekends, I clean houses and small offices. No company backs me. No contract protects me. It's just me with a bucket, gloves, and determination. I mop floors, scrub sinks, empty trash bins, and polish surfaces until they shine. Some clients greet me with kindness. Others barely look at me. A few delay payment or argue over small amounts. It hurts, but I swallow my pride. My children need food. They need school supplies. They need warmth. Even when my body aches or a fever tries to slow me down, I keep moving. At night, when Mia and Noah are asleep, I sit beside their beds. I brush hair away from their faces, kiss their foreheads, and whisper promises into the darkness. One day, things will be easier, I tell them softly. One day. That belief carries me through the exhaustion. Until the night everything changed. Rain poured from the sky as if it would never stop. The streets were nearly empty, and the wind cut through our coats. I had just finished a late shift, and we were walking home together. Mia held my left hand. Noah clutched my right. "Mom, I'm freezing," Noah said quietly. I wrapped my scarf around his shoulders and pulled him closer. "Just a little farther," I told him. "We're almost there." Suddenly, bright headlights flashed toward us. There was a screech, a violent impact, and a deafening crash. Then darkness. When I opened my eyes again, I was staring at a pale hospital ceiling. Machines beeped steadily nearby. The sharp scent of antiseptic filled the air. My heart pounded. "My children," I tried to say, but my voice barely worked. A nurse hurried to my side. "They're safe," she assured me gently. "They're not seriously hurt." Relief and fear collided inside me, and tears streamed down my face. Moments later, the door burst open. 2 small figures ran toward my bed. "Mom," they cried, wrapping their arms around me. Holding them, I felt gratitude so strong it hurt. Then a doctor stepped into the room. His expression was careful, professional. You have a severe fracture in your leg, he explained. You'll need surgery and several weeks to recover. Weeks? I whispered. I can't stop working. I have rent. I have responsibilities. He shook his head kindly. Right now, healing is your responsibility. As if that wasn't enough, more news followed. The cleaning equipment I had borrowed was destroyed in the accident. Worse, part of a high-end storefront had been damaged during the crash. The estimated cost was $30,000. $30,000. The number echoed in my mind like a sentence. That night, after Mia and Noah fell asleep in chairs beside my bed, I turned my face into the pillow and cried silently. I had survived loss before. I had survived abandonment. But this felt impossible. I didn't know how we would move forward. The following morning, something unexpected began to unfold. A neighbor had shared our situation online. Someone had written about the accident, about the single mother working 2 jobs, about 2 children sitting beside a hospital bed. I didn't know any of this at first. My phone simply wouldn't stop vibrating. Messages poured in from strangers. Some offered prayers. Others shared their own stories. A few sent small amounts of money, $10, $20, whatever they could spare. It wasn't just the financial help that moved me. It was the realization that people I had never met cared about us. Then, later that afternoon, my phone rang again. The voice on the other end was calm and steady. I heard about what happened, the man said. I would like to help. I tightened my grip on the phone. Who is this? I asked cautiously. You'll know soon, he replied. 2 days later, the hospital room door opened, and several people walked in carrying flowers, warm jackets for the kids, and bags of groceries. Behind them stood a young man in his early 30s. My name is Daniel, he said with a gentle smile. We've never met, but I know your story. And I believe no family should face something like this alone. I didn't know what to say. Why would you do this? I finally managed. Because I'm able to, he answered simply. Daniel and his small team took care of every hospital expense. The surgery, the medication, the therapy sessions, all of it. I kept waiting for conditions, contracts, something in return. There was nothing. Just kindness. Weeks passed. My legs slowly began to heal. One afternoon, Daniel returned and said, Sarah, when you're discharged, I want you to come somewhere with us. I assumed it was some kind of charity office. Maybe paperwork. Maybe assistance forms. Instead, they drove us to a quiet neighborhood I had only ever passed by on the bus. Large trees lined the streets. The houses were bright and well kept. The car stopped in front of a beautiful 2-story home with white walls and a small garden in front. I looked at him, confused. Why are we here? He handed me a set of keys. This house belongs to you and your children now, he said. I stared at him, certain I had misunderstood. Belongs to us, how? No rent. No debt. It's a fresh start, he explained. My knees weakened. Tears blurred my vision as Mia and Noah clung to me, laughing and crying at the same time. For the first time in years, I felt something I had almost forgotten. Security. Peace. Time continued moving forward, but now it felt lighter. A few months later, Daniel asked me a question I had not allowed myself to think about in years. If you could build any future for yourself, he said, what would it look like? I hesitated, embarrassed. I always dreamed of opening a small beauty studio, I admitted. A place where women could feel confident and cared for. He smiled. Then let's make that happen. With guidance, financial support, and a lot of hard work, that dream slowly became real. I completed professional training, found a location, and opened my own salon. It wasn't huge or glamorous, but it was mine. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving day to day. I was building something. Today, I still wake up early. I still work hard. But now when I kiss my children goodnight, my promises are no longer whispered out of desperation. They are spoken with certainty. This journey taught me something powerful. Even when life feels unbearably heavy, it can change in a single moment. There are still people in this world who choose kindness without expecting applause. Years ago, I thought I had nothing left. Now we have a home filled with laughter, a small business built from hope, and a future that feels possible. If you are walking through your own storm, please don't give up. Darkness does not last forever. Sometimes help arrives from places you never imagined. And when it does, it can change everything.